It's so freaking frustrating to be a self-aware person, to have self-awareness, but then to lack the ability to act on it, to do differently, to break the curses. It's like all so much easier said than done. And I specifically am like ruminating about red flags in men in general, but in this man that I'm dating currently, and just noticed from the first day. And it's so interesting because I've gone against all of those things starting from the first day, where I was like, I know better, like I know this is not my person, I know I've seen these signs before, I know that the right thing to do for myself is to walk away. But I didn't, and I'm still like resisting it and fighting it, and it's such a peculiar thing. And it's okay, like I can give myself grace, I can be patient, I can trust the process. Like clearly I haven't learned this lesson yet, and I need to, but I'm like, where do I even start? From the first few minutes that I met him, he was like, can I hold your hand? And I just was like, that's pretty intimate for my liking, but sure. Like, and again, that's like me ignoring the red flags, and me, that's kind of a boundary for me. Like, I don't really want to hold your hand, you're a full-blown stranger. And then just as soon as he like started talking, and just like the first conversation, like I was like, okay, this man has, oh my gosh, there's a little skunk right there, right there. So cute. I'm not going to go over there, obviously, but you're so cute. Oh my goodness. I guess there's a lot of critters out today. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. I don't want to get sprayed, but it's so cute. Anyways, I saw like, okay, this man has kind of an aggressive energy, kind of an intense energy. And again, I've seen that before. I'm very familiar with it. And in fact, I've seen it before, and I'm familiar with it because a part of me is very drawn to it. And since then, I've at times broken the curse and dated men that don't have that aggressive energy and are quite grounding and peaceful and calm. And even if I'm like, not that I ever like scream or cuss, but even if I were to scream or cuss, like these certain types of men would never match that energy. And I think that's a non-negotiable for me. Like, I need to be with somebody that's that way, because I'm already high strung. I'm already enough of that within myself. So I definitely don't need a partner that adds to that, or like when I feel triggered by them, they're not able to like hold the space for me and things like that. So anyways, yeah, going back to that, I was just like, okay, yeah, this dude is like kind of aggressive and kind of intense, but I love him. Again, I'm not, and I say all of this like in a joking way, but I'm not proud of it. And I'm also doing my best not to like kick myself too hard or beat myself up too hard about it. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that freaking big of a deal, but it's just frustrating because I've been down this road before. I know better, and like I'm the first person to say, you want to be like single and alone, especially if you're not like dating and getting good things out of it, or seeing one person and, you know, getting a lot out of it, feeling like they're adding to your life and helping you grow, and, you know, maybe triggering you, but in a healthy way, triggering you and then helping you work through it, for example. So the next thing that I noticed was pretty early on, he mentioned something about like another girl calling him out for love bombing. And he was like, I don't even really know what that means. And in my head, I was like, I know what it means. And that's not a good sign. Again, like, do I know for sure that he was love bombing? No, but he has an intense energy. I wouldn't be shocked if he was a love bomber, you know, and he's holding my hand, a perfect stranger's hand. And so that kind of gives a similar energy. And now that I've known him for 6 months or so, more than 6 months, 8 months, 6, 7, 8 months, yeah, with a little break in between and stuff, I don't, that's not the vibe that I'm getting, like love bombing specifically, but I do get this very intense energy, this very like quick to develop feelings, quick to like wanting to hang out a lot, excessively, kind of this obsessive energy, kind of like this desperation for closeness. And I get it. I get all of that because all of that feels so good. But that doesn't mean it's healthy. Trying to think what else I noticed right away with the red flags and stuff. I mean, I had some stuff personally come up, some more emotional, deeper stuff come up. And anytime I tried to have any sort of like conversation about anything of that nature, and I'm pretty like calm, cool, collected. I'm not bringing it up screaming or anything like that. Like just wanting to have an adult conversation about something, he would either like sort of shut down and not respond, or he would kind of like shut it down and be like, it's really not a big deal. Like we don't need to talk about it. Or maybe even like a little bit of bickering. And again, all of those are red flags. Like that shows me that this man, who is a full-blown adult, lacks conflict resolution skills. And maybe that works for some, but like I have to like talk through the issues that come up between us. I have to feel safe bringing up things that I'm dealing with on a personal level, and know that you're going to hear me and hold space for me and just be there for me to the best of your abilities. And so because I started catching on to that he wasn't able to do all of those things for me, whether it was like conscious or subconsciously, not too sure, but I stopped venting to him about those things. I stopped bringing those things up. I basically shut myself off emotionally and started suppressing my own emotions as a means to get along and move forward with this man. And I didn't say any of this to him. I didn't even like consciously tell myself that. I just was kind of like, okay, I feel alone in this dynamic with him when I bring up something of emotional depth. Like it's in both of our better interests that I just don't bring it up, for example. And again, all of these are huge red flags. Like that man is not your man, you know? This is not going to be somebody that you can be with for the rest of your life or even years on end. Like, red flag. And trying to think what else. I think another really big one for me, and something that I look past often, is kind of, it's a little tricky because it's okay if we have like somewhat differing beliefs. I don't necessarily think that your partner, and obviously this varies for each person, but I don't even necessarily think your partner needs to like agree with every single thing and believe in every single thing that you believe in. So like just not little things, but random things, like for example, the US and how it was discovered and how it came about and stuff like that. And I'm very much like, I'm a person that's rooting for the underdog. I'm very compassionate. I'm very empathetic. Like I think most people are when you talk to them about the US and how it was discovered, okay? Like, and he's more like, they're lucky we didn't kill them all. And that's what happens, like the superior one wins and just things like that. And I'm just like, what's clicking for me right now is like, that's what it is that's a person that lacks empathy. And I have a hard time saying that because he has his moments of being empathetic with me, for me, of me. I don't know, I guess it's tricky, and humans are complex, so it's not like, some humans truly just have zero empathy. I don't think he's that person, but I think maybe more often than not, he veers towards the non-empathetic end of the spectrum. And again, that's just not a person that's going to work for me. Another huge red flag for me specifically is he told me that he doesn't really like animals. He doesn't really like pets. To me, not liking pets is one thing. Like, I understand right now I don't have pets, but I'm a huge animal lover. And it's a nice newfound freedom for me, okay? So I can respect that to a certain degree. But if you just straight up don't like animals, to me that's a red flag. Something's going on there, because like the people that I've run into that don't like animals, I'm like, oh, you're just not my type of person, Like, how can you not like animals? They're so sweet and innocent and lovely, and like they bring me so much joy. And again, I get it to a certain degree if you're like, I just don't want my house dirty, and I like nice things and expensive furniture, so I don't want a dog or a cat. That I get. But if you're just like, I just straight up don't like animals, like, red flag, And like I said, especially for me, somebody who loves animals. And I think it just goes further than like, you don't want a pet in your house. It's like, you lack empathy. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is about people who don't like animals, is it trickles down into other areas of your life, or it's like there's a deeper reason that drives you to not like animals, not just like a preference. Maybe that's a blanket statement, but I don't know. So anyways, I ignored all of those red flags and continue to do so, and that's so frustrating, and so just like, what am I doing? And again, another example is like, without getting too into the weeds of the story, like a little small conflict arose over something trivial, but the point I kept trying to make to him thereafter was, it's not about the small trivial thing we were arguing about. It's about whether or not we're able to resolve conflict effectively and efficiently. Because whatever the trivial thing that we got into the fight about, that's irrelevant. But those types of things come up regularly in relationships, I'm not saying every day, I'm not saying every week, but maybe once a month or once every few months. You're two humans like cohabitating or spending a ton of time together. You're bound to like bicker about certain small things. But if you can't resolve the conflict in a healthy way, we got a problem. We really got a problem. So that's another thing that I've looked past. And it's just so annoying and like toxic on my part too. And I think did you see it again?
I did, but it went up.
Okay, good. Thank you. I want to hike, and this girl saw a coyote, and so we're trying to avoid it. But I think a big red flag is like those relationships that tend to be intoxicating, and like you can never get enough, and you're like, you have this kind of obsessed feeling, because I certainly have that with him. And it's not because I'm like, wow, this is for sure the love of my life, like this is for sure my life partner. It's not in that way. It's just like, I can't get enough of him right now. And maybe that's part of why, because I know this is going to be a short-lived thing. Like, I know this isn't my forever person. That's kind of a red flag of mine. Also, disclaimer, like, I'm definitely not saying that I don't have any red flags. I'm like perfectly imperfect, definitely flawed. I have all kinds of issues, I tend to, sometimes I can make a mountain out of a molehill, or like, just like when a little bit of conflict does arise, like, I don't know, like I said, mountain out of a molehill, or like just continue to like dig it deeper instead of putting on my conflict resolution pants. So obviously, as you can see, like, me with a partner who's not good at conflict resolution is a recipe for disaster. At least when I've dated men that are conflict resolution oriented, we usually make headway and we make progress and we're able to move on in a healthy way. But yeah, so another thing that I noticed is like the part, this is a little like more in depth, but like I'm specifically drawn to him because he has this aggressive energy and, you know, can be kind of cold and stuff like that. And my childhood trauma, what I'm trying to do subconsciously is heal the wounds of my childhood by finding this man that I know is that way, that is self-proclaimed to be that way, aggressive and, you know, all of those things. And what it's like, what I'm supposedly telling my subconscious mind is that if this man who is aggressive can be soft with me and softens with me, it must be because I'm worthy of love. It must be because I'm special enough, you know, things like that. And again, that's toxic. Like, no, like, I need to like believe and find within myself that I'm worthy of love. And that's not to say, like, a healthy relationship can really help you to heal those wounds too. I think it's tricky, you know, because people are like, you don't want to depend on another person to like heal your wounds. Yeah, of course. And it needs to come from within. And it certainly shouldn't be like you're a serial dater and each man you date, you're just looking for them to heal your wounds. Like, no. But if you're already like very much on a path of like healing and stuff like that, and then you do enter a healthy relationship and the person is able to help you heal and help you progress, like, to me, that's great. That's beautiful. Like, just as the wrong relationship can cause you to regress, I think a healthy one can definitely help you to progress. And I think that's beautiful. But that's kind of what's keeping me stuck in this toxic cycle. But specifically with him, and because I shut that off the first like few months that we dated, we didn't have much conflict. So not very many opportunities arose for him to become frustrated with me, for him to become short-fused, stuff like that. And then I broke up with him, and then he kind of weaseled his way back into my life. And, you know, it pulled on my heartstrings, and it made me feel like, oh, it feels so good to like talk to him and be with him and stuff like that. Like, I want to do it again. So I did it again. And this go around, we had lots of conversations and stuff about how I told him, like, I didn't even realize I was doing this, but the first go around, like, I was emotionally suppressing and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like it was because you didn't know how to, like, respond or react to that. So this go around, like, I'm going to be my authentic self. I'm going to bring up the things that bother me, the things that I'm emotional about. If I'm crying about a family member or my dog passing or something that you've done that's hurt me, you know, I want to be able to be open and honest with you. And he's like, yeah, for sure. And I want you to be able to be open and honest with me. And so I've noticed that the times that I have been either triggered or difficult or, you know, maybe sparked a little bit of conflict, and I don't mean to like blame myself. I'm just trying to take accountability for doing some of those things. I still don't think that the way this man has treated me was warranted, especially considering what I did. And I just don't think that sort of treatment is warranted regardless, especially when you haven't done anything remotely wrong or bad or hurtful. Like, it's just a little bit of conflict. And this man raised his voice at me kind of like threw things in my face that I confided in him about in my face, threw those things in my face. And that's a huge red flag, because now I no longer feel safe confiding in you, because I know that eventually one day you're going to use it against me. And that's just a horrible thing. Like, and really what it comes down to is like emotional abuse. Like, that is one of the tactics. And it's just really ugly, because like this is the person that you're supposed to feel safe with, confide in, like things like that. Like, they shouldn't ever, oh, squirrel, they shouldn't ever throw those things in your face. And I'm not trying to say I'm this perfect, amazing angel. Like, I know that I'm flawed too, but I know that I've never done that. Like, particularly with him, or maybe in past relationships when I was a lot younger. I'm not sure. I would have to reflect more on that. But particularly with him, I've never done that. I've never thrown something in his face that he confided in me about. And then like cussing is another thing too. And a few days later, when we had the conversation about all of that, first of all, that was my opportunity to walk away, because when someone really crosses you like that and disrespects you and mistreats you, especially when it's unwarranted, it's not like I cheated on you with your brother, like something crazy. Even then, you should be able to have an adult conversation, or just be like, you really hurt me. I want nothing to do with you. Bye. You don't need to like do all those crazy things. Be so harsh, so aggressive, so cruel is the best word. So yeah, I think I'm really quite disappointed in myself for like how many, what is it going to take in this relationship for me to walk away? Because I've had ample opportunities. I've noticed hundreds of red flags. Like, what is going on? When is enough going to be enough? And that's just an exhausting place to be. Like, why do I have to get to the point where enough is enough? Like, why can't I just walk away when I know it's not a match, when I know it's a misalignment? And now we're getting into like risky territory where he's like, I don't know if it's a match or not. The thing is, I have this chronic issue of like purposely dating men that I sort of feel like I have the upper hand against, because then I'm like, well, I'll always be the one doing the breaking up, and that way I'll never get super hurt. Again, I'm not proud of that at all. I don't think that's a good place to be. I'm just trying to explain, like, that's been one of my protective measures. But like now him and I are getting into this uncharted area where he's like, basically after he popped off on me, he was like, I didn't know if I was ever going to talk to you again. Like, I didn't know if you were the right person for me, things like that. And you know what that does to me in my subconscious mind is it reels me in even closer, where I'm like, no, I can't lose this man, and I need to be on my best behavior and like not cause any problems and stuff like that, because like what would that do to me and my wounds to like lose this man, you know? And what's felt so good about it is that he's been obsessed with me this whole time and like super into me and stuff like that. And like I said, like that is on some level or in a very unhealthy or toxic way healing my childhood wounds, because no, girl, like no, this man being soft with you, even though that those are not his true colors, that's not in any way like proving to me that I'm worthy of love. It's kind of like this temporary version of that. Like temporarily I feel like, wow, I must be worthy of love, you know, but it's just very complicated. And of course I know that's kind of why I started the video with saying like it's so frustrating being a self-aware person, because like I can say all this out loud, you know, I know maybe not exactly what's going on, but I have a good idea of what's going on, what I'm tolerating, what I'm putting myself through, what I'm bringing to the table, because I'm not 100% innocent in this either. But I'm not walking away when I know that I need to walk away. that's just so frustrating. But I also want to just give myself grace, and it's going to be okay, and like take these lessons for next time, because it's been a while that I've like more long-term dated someone that's this way. Like I can't really recall. I think the last person that I dated that was kind of this way was 2015 to like 2017, or maybe even 18, because it was very like toxic in the end and unhealthy, and like we would still see each other occasionally, and he still had like a hold on me. But that's almost a decade ago. So to be back in that place right now just feels like such a regression, and I'm frustrated with myself for that. But again, I need to give myself grace and compassion and empathy, and do my affirmations and listen to my subliminals overnight to reaffirm to my subconscious mind that I'm worthy of a healthy, functional love. And I also need to be giving myself that. I'm trying, but thank you guys for listening. Hopefully I can dodge these red flags much easier next time, or from here on out. But yeah, like I said, easier said than done. All right, have a good day. Bye.